the Citizens United decision basically, made it possible for corporations and unions, I put unions in quotes because they are so much less powerful than the corporations, to pour unlimited amounts of money into the campaign process under the guise of free speech. But so long as they didn't coordinate directly with the candidate, in theory, it would not lead to corruption. That floodgate opening has really changed everything, because now the amounts of money are so vast that 90%, I believe it's 90% of elections are won by the candidate who spends the most money. So it means that money rules. Now, the dark part of it is interesting because, originally the idea was, or the rationalization was, that if you put money in a super PAC, you can see where it comes from. So sunlight, you can see that, General Motors has poured blah, blah, however many hundreds of millions of dollars into a super PAC. But what the dark money groups learned, and particularly people who didn't want to take the political flack for trying to say ending environmental controls, or Big Pharma didn't want to take the flack for trying to goose pharmaceutical prices, is that you could donate money to a 501c4, which is a not-for-profit organization whose donors can't be penetrated by public inquiry. So you donate to a 501c4, the 501c4 gives to the super PAC, and lo and behold, you don't know where the money's coming from. It's not unlike what the Sinaloa cartel does, which is what one of the prosecutors in Ohio told us. The whole job is to hide the money, right? And so you can have a 501c4, which gives to another 501c4, which gives to a super PAC, which then gives to a 501c4, a whole bunch of interlocking entities, not to mention, you create these corporations who have one function, which then own another corporation, which has another function. So it's a labyrinth of mirrors in terms of hiding the source of the money. In Ohio, the corruption case was successfully prosecuted. The Speaker of the House, Larry Householder, who was at the center of the ring, did go to jail, as did another gentleman who was involved in conspiracy. But that's extremely rare. And it's extremely rare because the Supreme Court has made it very difficult to prosecute these kind of crimes. And also because of the dark money, it's very hard to see where the money's coming from to know whether or how you should prosecute. In this case, the federal agents had gotten a permission to wiretap somebody as a result, to inquire into a potential gambling crime. While those wiretaps were active, they heard the voice of a man named Neil Clark, who was a lobbyist in Ohio. And he started bragging about this kind of quid pro quo that they were running with First Energy, this energy company. And so the agents stumbled into a much, much bigger case, which they were then able to follow the trail of, initially mostly through wiretaps and body wires from agents.